Welcome to the beautiful Oops podcast for children of all ages. I'm Barney Saltzberg, and I'm an author and an illustrator and a singer and a songwriter, and a lot of my books have been published, but some of my stories haven't. And I've got a box full of stories that I love that publishers haven't jumped on, but I thought, why don't I take this opportunity to read some stories from time to time that have never been made into books, and you really wouldn't have an opportunity to hear them unless I read them. So, when my children were little, I told them stories about Noop and Goodink. Noop is a mouse and Goodink is a frog, and they're best friends. This is a short book of short stories, and there are 4. The first is called Packing a Picnic, and I'll describe the pictures when needed. This starts off with Goodink making a very large submarine sandwich. It says Noop and Goodink were going on a picnic. Goodink was preparing their lunch. He made a lovely submarine sandwich with 6 kinds of cheese. He packed 2 cans of New Zealand sardines that he had saved for a special occasion. Goodink baked a gooseberry pie from an old recipe that his grandmother loved to make. He brought 2 boxes of double-stuffed marshmallow fudgies in case he got hungry along the way. And there was just enough room in the basket to squeeze in a bag of cheesy delight fish crackers. "What a wonderful day for a picnic," sang Goodink. It's hot in the sun and cool in the shade. This looks like the best lunch I've ever made. Goodink tasted the pie to make sure that it was okay. "Grandma would have loved it," he said. "I'll just have a teeny tiny nibble of this sandwich." Before long, he had finished the entire sandwich with the 6 different kinds of cheese, the whole bag of cheesy delight fish crackers, and on the way to his room, Goodink gobbled the 2 boxes of double-stuffed marshmallow fudgies. He got into bed. I don't think he felt well. When Noop, the mouse, came home, he was surprised to find Goodink in bed. "Come on, lazy bones," said Noop. "It's picnic time." "I don't feel like going on a picnic," moaned Goodink. "Besides, I couldn't eat a thing." The second story is called The Windy Day. Noop was reading a book. He's sitting on a chair with a book, and Goodink walks in with a kite. "Put on your coat," said Goodink. "It's kite-flying weather." "Too windy," said Noop. "I've seen wind this strong blow an elephant's socks off while his shoes were still on. It's dangerous out there." "It's just the wind," said Goodink. "You worry too much." Goodink stepped outside, and the wind somersaulted him across the yard. "This is going to be great," cried Goodink. A mighty gust swept Goodink up into the air again and flipped him over like a green pancake. He's a frog, remember? He crashed on the lawn with a loud thwop. "Fabulous!" Goodink stood up and unraveled the kite string. The wind snatched the kite and flew Goodink through the air. Now we turn to a page where you see Noop walking back and forth like he's nervous. The wind calmed down, and Noop looked out the window. He paced back and forth. He chewed on his tail. "I can't stand it anymore," he shouted. "I don't see Goodink anywhere." Noop bundled up and hurried out to find his friend. He walked and walked and walked, and finally he looked up. Goodink was sitting in a tree down the road. "What a ride!" he said to Noop. "I told you it was too windy to go outside," said Noop. "You could have blown away, and I would have never seen you again." "You're right," said Goodink. "On the next windy day, you'll have to come along, and we can blow away together." The third story is called Save the Moon. It was a beautiful night. Noop and Goodink were out admiring the moon. "It's gone!" cried Goodink. "What's gone?" asked Noop. "The moon," said Goodink. "It was right up there, and it just disappeared." "The moon doesn't just disappear," said Noop. They looked down. The moon was floating in the water. "We'll never get all the water out of this pond," said Noop. He tried to fish the moon out of the pond, but it just wiggled. "Even if we had it, how would we get the moon back up in the sky?" asked Goodink. I don't know, shouted Noop, but we can't just let the moon sink to the bottom of the pond. This is awful. Noop looked down. It fell in the pond, he shouted. We'll have to empty the pond and save the moon before it sinks. And then a fish poked his head out of the pond. What's all the racket about? Asked Sam the fish. The moon fell in a pond. Don't you see it? Said Noop&Goodink. Of course I do, said Sam. The moon is up in the sky like it's supposed to be. You two have been looking at its reflection. We have? Asked Goodink. He's right, said Noop. Look up there. Noop&Goodink danced off into the night, feeling much better after they saw the moon up in the sky where it was supposed to be. The last story is called The Piano Party. Where am I going to find a box big enough to wrap Snooter's birthday present? Asked Goodink. I'm sure you'll find something, said Noop. But you better hurry, the party starts soon. When the friends began to arrive for the party, Goodink still hadn't wrapped the gift, so he hid it. During the party, Noop sat down at the piano to play some music. Here's a little song called The Moon's Made of Cheese, Noop announced. Tick, tick, tick was the only sound that came out of the piano. Is the piano broken? Asked Goodink. It certainly doesn't sound very good, said Noop. Now the party's ruined, cried Goodink. We won't have any songs. What's a party without music? This is awful. I'll call Mo the piano doctor, said Noop, and he left the room. I'm really sorry, said Goodink. Maybe everyone should go home and we'll have the party on a day when the piano works. Noop came back and gave everyone a pot, a pan, and a spoon. This is no time for cooking, said Goodink. We're going to make some music without the piano, said Noop. Noop taught their friends songs they could sing while playing the drums with their pots and pans. They used wooden spoons and spoons out of metal to bang on the pots and pans. Goodink sang the loudest and made the most noise with his wooden spoon and frying pan. Everyone was making music when Mo the piano doctor knocked on the door. Mo tapped the piano here, tap, 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 and a little bit there, tap, tap, tap. Said Mo. I've seen this once before. He asked everyone to stand back. Mo opened the top of the piano and pulled out a large stuffed teddy bear. What a wonderful bear, Snooter said. It's your present, said Goodink. I've never had a present wrapped in a piano before, Snooter said. I knew you would find something good to put the present in, said Noop. When Noop played the piano, the music sounded wonderful, and everyone joined in, banging on their pots and pans. And that's 4 stories with Noop&Goodink, a mouse and a frog. And again, you won't find that book anywhere. I hope you like my podcast. Please share this with friends. Please sign up so that you'll be notified when the next one comes out. I'm going to try to do a story and at least a song once a week. So thank you again for listening. Bye.
I promise to go to sleep after it ends. Tell me just one more story about Billy and Nibley, 2 very best friends.
And Billy hopped onto his bed, got under the covers, and a few moments later, Nibley came jumping right up next to him and got under the covers. And a few moments later, they were both fast asleep.